What's up, guys? Zeenigami here, and it's time for Artifact 202. You've gotten past the basic artifact tutorial. You know how artifacts work. If you don't, I've got another video on that, link in the video description down below. If it's not there, remind me, I'll make sure to put it there. But let's now talk about what's the best artifacts to build on each of your characters in the early, the middle, and the late game as it exists in Genshin Impact right now with our two major zones, Mondstadt and Liu. So the most important thing that you're going to be focusing on, first of all, is likely to be your feather. For the early and mid game and even late game, your feather's flat attack boost is going to be more than the percent attack boost that you're going to be getting off of any other artifact piece. And the feather will always roll with attack. So if you're looking at which artifacts to level up, your feather you can have as a bump above the rest. If you have level 16 feathers, your other gear is at level 12. You got level 12 feathers, your gear that's level 8-ish. So if you're looking to invest in one of your artifact pieces, feather's the way to go. That flat attack boost is likely to be stronger than your weapon and very likely to be stronger than attack percent. With the flower is always health, so really all you need to do with the flower is match the flower with one of your 2 or 4 piece set bonuses. The watch best in slot is always going to be either attack percent or elemental mastery on your characters. There's also energy recharge if you want a character to use their ultimates a lot, like Venti. There's an argument to be made here for energy recharge, but basically for most characters, you're going to want attack percent or elemental mastery. And we're going to make an asterisk here, which after you have a base level of a certain amount of elemental mastery, you don't really need any more because a lot of elemental mastery doesn't scale as well as just a lot of attack on your characters. So we're looking mostly for attack here, elemental mastery as a second on some characters, energy recharge possibly, but the other possible roles, health percent, defense percent, everything else here is not at good at all. For the goblet or cup, easily the best stat you can have here is always going to be percent damage. Always. Either you have a physical DPSer like a Razor, a Diluc, someone who's going to be punching a lot. You're going to want to have possibly physical attack bonus here. If you're using a caster, elemental percent bonus is easily the best one here. And anyone else who's on the field, off the field, official, jungling, percent damage all the time. And the reason is the percent damage here is always going to apply for any damage of that type. So Hydro damage bonus is just straight up 23% more damage to all of my Barber's damage. And I'm going to show us later on, but this 23% damage boost on Hydro damage on Barber is actually just as strong as a 46% attack boost on Barbara. So that's the difference. That's how strong percent elemental damage is. That 23% damage is as strong as 46% attack. And then on the hat, you're going to want to have crit damage, or you're going to want to have attack percent. So crit damage, attack percent, and once again, elemental mastery, depending on the character that you're putting it on. Crit damage is likely to be better than crit chance because of how low crit damage starts in Genshin Impact. Crit damage on characters starts at a base level of 50%. Oh, that's my bonuses from gear. I want to see the characters' base crit damage. So crit damage starts at a base of 50%. So since it's only 50%, we actually want to raise our crit damage a lot. The ratio, the quick rule of thumb here for crit rate to crit damage is you want 10 times the amount of crit damage as crit rate. So you have 5% crit rate, 50% crit damage, 60% crit rate, 60% crit damage. And it's pretty easy to get crit rate compared to the amount of crit damage you get in this game. You get about twice the amount of crit damage as crit rate on gear. So the hats, for example, hats, will at 3-star start at either 3.5% crit rate or 7% crit damage. 7% crit damage to start on a 3-star piece of gear. So getting crit damage, getting a lot of crit damage, hoping you get crit percent as a secondary on stuff is likely to be better unless you have some weapons. For example, here, Jean's weapon increases crit damage and crit rate. But again, you get a lot of crit rate. We really want to try to get more crit damage. Like you see here, my Jean crits almost 50% of the time, but her crits need to be doing a lot more damage. I want to really stack crit damage at this point, not more crit chance. If you want the math behind that, you can actually just check the math on a lot of different games. For example, here I've got a crit chance versus damage calculator from The Division. It works just exactly the same in Genshin Impact. You can see here that for my Jean, who has 47% crit chance and 88% crit damage, for my 1% increase in crit chance is as valuable to me as 2% increase in crit damage. So I really, really want to get more crit damage compared to how much crit chance I have. Just because crit damage and crit chance is calculated the same in every game. If you crit, you multiply it by the crit damage, which, as I said, on every character starts at a base 50%. So that's what we're looking for as the best in slot. You also can have healing percent on your hat if you have a dedicated healer, but crit damage and attack percent on your hat, maybe elemental mastery. Percent damage on everybody for your cup. Percent damage, physical or the element, one or the other, depending on which attacks they're doing. If they're a physical attacker, physical percent. If they're doing most of the damage from their element, like Xiangling Fischl, element damage. Timepiece, attack percent, or elemental mastery, but attack percent is going to be better most of the time. This only rolls attack, and this only rolls health. So we're going to look at our Barber here. You can see my Barber has currently 900 attack, and what I'm going to do is I want to show you how much stronger elemental percent damage is than flat attack percent on as your main stat. So we're going to remove this 46% attack piece here. We're not really losing any set bonuses that matter. We're not causing elemental reactions. So the only difference here is I've lost a 46% attack bonus to my Barbara, which only affects the basic. It only boosts our attack by 46% of this attack, which is the character's base stats plus their weapon stats. So we have, again, lost now 46% attack on one piece of gear. And we're going to punch this guy and see how much damage we do. And we can see here that we are dealing about 200 damage. 200 damage, 200 damage, 200 damage. That's what we're seeing. Now, what I'm going to do is we're going to take off the Hydro 25% damage that I'm getting. And since Barbara's attacks are all Hydro, then it's boosting all of her damage. Barbara here, artifacts. We're going to put this back on. So we're going to get that 46% attack boost, and we're going to lose now 23% Hydro. And attacking this golem once again, we're going to see the amazing difference that it makes. Don't shoot me. And that's going to be 206. So there's a 7 damage difference. 7 damage difference between having a piece of gear that is 46% attack, a level 20 gear, a level 20 artifact of 46% attack versus this 23% Hydro damage with 3% attack here and with nothing here that affects the auto attack. So you can see here that that's how strong percent damage here. Percent damage is so much better, easily the best in slot for your cup. In the early game, and I'm talking very, 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 very early, you're going to want to have the 2-piece adventurer set on all of your characters because how easy it is to get the 2-piece adventurer set. 2-piece adventurer set gives you 1,000 max health, which at that point in the game is easily likely to double or at least give you 50% more health. Characters starting with about somewhere between 1,000 to 2,000 hit points very early on in the game, until you get better sets. 2-piece adventurer sets all around. Once you graduate from the adventurer set, 2-piece adventurer set plus 2-piece berserkers is very easy to get. Berserkers giving you crit rate. Remembering here that the most important thing on our gear is going to be the main stat, not the 2-piece set bonus. The main stat, as we level that up, is actually going to factor a lot more into how good our character is than the 2-piece set here. So if you have to have only gear without set bonuses, having stuff like the pyro damage bonus here or a crit damage here is actually going to improve your damage more than having a weak set bonus available to your characters. Ideally, you get them both together, but don't be afraid to break a set bonus in order to get a larger attack percent or crit damage bonus on your gear. One of the sets that you're going to want to have basically from the start of the game all the way up to end game when you're farming 4 and 5-star artifact sets is the instructor set. The instructor set is so incredibly powerful. If you don't know why, the 4-piece set bonus that says after using an elemental skill is wrong, it actually applies after an elemental reaction. So if you have a caster on your team at all, Barbara, Sucrose, Mona, or characters with a short cooldown that is just there to trigger elemental reactions, the 4-piece set bonus is basically going to say your entire team gets a permanent 120% elemental mastery boost, which is amazingly, amazingly good. So I cannot tell you how strong having this 4-piece instructor set bonus all the time on your team for the early and mid game until you start getting those 4 and 5-star set bonuses that are going to be stronger on individual characters. Amazing set. Get it on a caster, keep it on a caster. Your team gets a ton of elemental mastery, which is going to affect all of your elemental reaction damage. You're also going to want to start building the Sojourner set. The Sojourner set is a 2-piece set bonus that you're going to often pair with the Berserker set. So the Berserker 2-piece set bonus and the Sojourner 2-piece set bonus for the 18% attack boost on Sojourner, which is totally right over here. 2-piece Sojourner should be something that you can start picking up in the mid game for the 18% attack, as well as, if you can get lucky, those 2-piece Berserker set bonus towards the end of the mid game. 18% attacks here. The 4 set bonus I don't think is worth going for, so start getting Instructors, 4-piece on one character, and 2-piece Berserker and 2-piece Sojourner on other characters. You can also, if you can get it, 2-piece Martial Artist. The 2-piece Martial Artist set bonus, which increases normal and charge attack damage by 15%, and the Sojourner bonuses together, 18% attack. Very, very good for this mid-game place that you're at where you're looking to get these double 2-piece bonuses on characters a lot. For these mid-tier pieces, the 4-piece set bonus often isn't as good as double 2 set bonuses for just the increased attack. So increased attacking here, or increasing attack, or even increasing elemental mastery with the Wanderer set on a caster can be very, very useful. The Wanderer set 2-piece increase is okay, but what's most important is that here, if you have multiple characters that you want to have elemental mastery on, having multiple sets of the Instructor set do not stack. So you cannot get multiple 120% or 120 elemental masteries. So if you already have one character with the Instructor set, then another character with Instructor plus the Wanderer's 2-piece can be useful. So now, let's say you've made it into the late game and you're looking to wonder, you're past Adventurer rank 30 to 35, and you're looking for what sets of gear to farm from those domains. The Berserker set and the Wanderer set, or the Gladiators set and the Wanderer set, are very strong. Gladiator's 2-piece is incredibly good, and the 4-piece also increasing normal attack damage by 30% of any melee character. Great for a DPS that's out all the time. Less useful for Diluc and Razor because they have better sets available to them. But if you have something like Xiangling, might be good to have this a sword character using who's out all the time and using them for your hard carries, then this 4-piece set bonus is quite nice. The Wanderer's trope, if you're using a caster who can really benefit from the charge damage, this can be useful, but the 2 set bonus is usually as far as you want to get on here. The Bloodstained Chivalry is an interesting set. The 2-piece set bonus is amazing. Amazing 2-piece set bonus here. 25% physical damage. I said how strong physical damage is earlier. This is ridiculously strong. Absolutely stupid powerful. 25% for basically all of your attacks. Amazing 2-piece set bonus to get. The 4-piece set bonus is weird. I don't think the 4-piece set bonus is that strong on most melee characters. I actually think the 4-piece set bonus would be stronger on casters. There's some stupid builds that I might think about trying where you have a caster who's triggering the double damage elemental reaction on water on a fire character or fire on an ice character to do a lot of damage here, but not important for this situation. This set is worthless. This set is worthless. And this set is possibly useful. The Scholar set, if you want to use it on a team with a lot of energy recharge, you might want to try this out on a Venti to see if you like it, but there's a better set to use. I don't think it's worth going for this set. There's a better one, and that is going to be the Viridescent Veneerer. Best in slot for Animo characters. If you're using an Animo character, this is the set you want them to use. Increases damage bonus for Animo by 15%. That's okay, but the 4-piece set bonus is what we're here for. Increases your swirl damage by 60%, which is awesome, but even better, decreases elemental resistance to that swirled damage by 40% for 10 seconds. So you're likely to combine this with a DPS carry of another type, which is what you should be doing. And so that other character is going to get a lot more damage on their element that they're dealing. So your Animo character now not only spreads the element around, but increases damage of that element by basically 40%. So amazingly strong set on any Animo character. You're going to want this on every Animo character you get. For your fire damaging characters, the Crimson Witch of the Flame set is probably best in slot for most characters, especially for Diluc. It increases their fire damage and also increases the damage of all their elemental reactions available to them. And whenever you use a skill, increases that fire damage by additional 50% up to 3 stacks, which means that Diluc, when he hits his E3 times, already gets that 3 stacks of 50% fire damage increase, or 50% increase to that pyro damage 2-piece set bonus. So amazing set on Diluc. Also pretty good set on every other fire damaging character that you have. And for electric characters, again, these element sets are amazing. Best in slot for characters, especially for your official and characters. Razor might have a better set if you want to build him as physical DPS, but here, electro damage increased by 15%. Already we know elemental damage is awesome, and also increases damage of all the electro effects by 40%, and also whenever you trigger such an effect, has a chance to reduce your E cooldown by a second. Very good set for your electro characters. For the other sets, they're not going to be as strong. The Thunder Soother, I want to make a note about these effects here that increases damage against enemies affected by blank. Any weapons or gear with this set bonus does not work whenever the attack triggers an elemental reaction. So let's say that this character is affected by electro and I hit them with a water attack. That water attack is going to trigger the... Actually, that's a bad example because the water is actually going to keep electro because that's a weird reaction. If a character is affected by Electro and I hit him with a fire attack, that fire attack is going to cause an overload and they're no longer going to be affected by Electro, so that attack is not affected by this damage boost. And you're likely to be causing elemental reactions all the time, and so these increased damage against enemies affected by blank is actually very unreliable because how often elemental reactions are going to happen, unless you have just a lot of very stable ways to get a single element out. Like you're using Lisa's ultimate in order to get a lot of electric out, so things are basically permanently going to have Electro. Razor can actually use that because his ultimate is going to have his stand behind him dealing electric damage all the time. But it's really awkward to use this, and I don't like this as an effect. In the Sojourner set, already we know that the 2-piece set bonus is very good. I don't recommend the 4-piece set bonus. Maiden's Beloved, don't like it. Tiny Miracle, don't like it. Heart of Bravery, 2-piece set bonus is great. 4-piece set bonus, I think it might be worth going for if you want to do a big burst effect, but I don't think it's worth it. We're not worth it. The Geo set bonus. Geo set bonus, compared to the other set bonuses, are not as good for the 4-piece. So the Fire, Electric, and Animal 4-piece set bonuses are incredibly strong. The Geo 4-piece, not as strong, because since Geo already makes so many shields, you kind of don't need more resistance to that type. Getting a shield already absorbs 2.5 times of the element of that shield, and so getting more resistance to that type isn't that useful. The 2-piece set bonus that increases your Geo damage is good, but after that, grab another 2-piece to combine with it. The Lava Walkers, bad set. Defender's Will, bad set. Unless you want to do some funky Noelle build with high defense, you can do that. Don't use it though. Martial Artist, good set, but I think for most characters is overpowered by the other sets that we talked about earlier. So that's all the late game artifacts I can recommend. Let's go over that one more time. Most characters with the Fire, Electric, and Animo elements are going to want the sets of their own type. Incredibly strong sets for Fire, Electric, and Animo characters. I've been Zeenigami, guys. I know that was a lot to take in. I know that's a lot to talk about. Hopefully this helped you figure out some of your artifacts. If you have any questions, come by, check me out on twitch.tv/Zeenigami. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have about gearing your characters or about team setups. Thank you so much for watching, and y'all stay beautiful.